very many of us here today, but I'm assuming you know some of these folks from other engagements. We're mostly run by sponsorship. We have a large number of members that we've just crossed 1,500 members, but most of the funding for the organization comes from sponsorship. And any of you who are working for companies, we'd warmly welcome it if you would encourage your companies to sponsor the organization. I'll get to what we do with our sponsorship funding in the next couple of slides, but I'd encourage you to help us do more outreach. Membership dues are a small percentage of the amount of money that we get as a foundation, and we do rely on the sponsorship from corporations. So next two slides, and that's the bulk of the rest of my talk, is just basically what we've done over the last 3 years in terms of spending the money on funding. Not to take away from many of the very good open source projects you've heard about over the last day and what you'll hear about tomorrow, we focus mostly on doing things that we think will help the community but don't necessarily look like they're obvious things to do. I've not included here a bunch of the sponsorships that are below the $2,500 level because there's a bunch of small stuff that we give out for supports, and we spend quite a lot of money funding people to attend conferences remotely and other types of things. There's a bunch of educational outreach stuff that we engage in. But this and the next slide covers the sort of relatively larger sponsorship activities that we've had going for the last 3 years. Give a shout out to SpawnFest, it's coming up. So for those of you who are not taking part yet, then get your applications in and do stuff. We think that that is a good thing for the community to be engaged in, and we're very happy that SpawnFest does what it does, and some interesting, useful things come out of that activity. We focus as well, I think, on things that will improve tooling. We think that that's generally a good thing and benefits the community, and you as members will benefit from those types of things. And as well, we spend money on things that sort of segment related. So on this slide, there's the Rosie project, which is related to robotics. And we've done the work with Coco related to vision systems and other types of things. So we tend to be interested or intrigued if you come with proposals for those types of things about verticals that may be of interest to the community. We're not particularly scientific in the way we choose things. We just discuss it as a board and talk to folks about whether we think things are going to be interesting and whether we'll get value for money. We're a bit like venture capitalists, if you think of it like that. We take reasonably small bets on things that are going on in the community and hope that some of them will be found useful. And I'm sure we'll make a couple of mistakes as well that we'll be sort of deeply embarrassed about in the future. And we also like to work with universities on projects as well. So if you've got university educational background systems, we like to work with universities, partially because it encourages undergraduates and graduates to be doing work in Erlang and Elixir, and that sort of helps, create more coders, which is one of the things that we hear from our sponsors are in dire need. And this is what we've been doing for the last sort of year and a half. Again, there's sort of stuff in there that's been brought up, and there are 2 or 3 presentations today which got mentioned about stuff, and I think some of you sat and listened to the type checking stuff that's been going on today. So we like to encourage things. There's nothing on here that I think is, you would say, mainstream in the sense that many of the larger projects are doing work which is self-evident and obvious, and we're trying to encourage things in other areas. Good example might be, for instance, the JIT on ARM32. And I think I'm done. So,
thank you.
Thank you.